Hello everyone, how you guys doing? Hopefully you're having a wonderful Monday. We are back again with another Fanatics Weekly review where I go through the top 100 soccer items auctioned over on their platform. As always, if you enjoy these, do make sure to leave a like. I've had a lot of questions lately about, why it's just Fanatics and why I don't go through eBay and Golden and all this different stuff. And really, it's just, I like the selection on Fanatics of cards that they have listed. I like that it's very easily digestible, doesn't take a lot of work on my part. I don't have to go outsource and make sure and add up 100. It's so much easier. I love the selection and it's consistent. If I started doing, top 20s of, I like it. I like it. All right. I like it. I'll just say it. I like it. So this week starting at about a little under $400, which is, a bit higher than we saw last week for sure, and a bit lower than we were seeing before. But again, I think the market's doing pretty well. I think it's just, a matter of what cards get sent to auction at this point. So let's go ahead and begin. We start with a 1947 Bonaparti hand-cut PSA 8 here on this Italian issue, of course. And for him, from what I could find, I think 47 is his rookie. It says rookie. I was looking at highest sales. It all seems to be 47, but there are multiple issues from this year, so this isn't like a sole rookie, at least as far as I'm aware. Of course, if you know different, please let me know down below. I'd be happy to know for the future reference. But ultimately, it seemed like a decent price if you're a buyer of that. Pop one of one and higher for what is at the very least, an early Bonaparti. And that's where we start off. 17 watchers on that. Next to it, we got a Pulisic with 36. Clearly the modern bias is showing here. PSA 10 holographic goes for 372. I looked at this one, I closed it, but back in the day, this was a $1,000 plus card. Back when people were going crazy for everything, and ultimately this bottomed at about 150 to 200. So it's still, at least from 150 to 200, it's up quite a bit as of late. Don't know anything about women's soccer, so I'm not going to try to pretend I do. Lamine Yamal in 2013, select field level. This is, of course, just a silver, 372 on that PSA 10 there. Alex Morgan, a little bit closer to home, so at least I'm aware, but PSA 10 Color Blast there for 384, along with a Messi Gold Bubbles 2020 Topps Chrome. I think they got rid of the bubbles, or maybe the newer bubbles just don't do good prices, but I don't think I've seen many bubbles as of late. Lionel Messi Orange Optic, and that's interesting. What's this? Well, I guess that's unnumbered, so yeah, okay. Anyways, Orange Optic PSA 10, this goes for about 400. Interestingly enough, I also looked at this beforehand, and these haven't really gone up much at all, really, from 24 or 2024 pricing, 2025 pricing. It's basically where it's been for the last few years, and so despite Messi roaring, this has not really seen much love as of late, and it's still a decent price, I guess, 400. It is first year optic. How much people care about that, I don't really think it hits home for people, but ultimately still a decent price, I guess, nonetheless. Finest gold, Lamine Yamal. I thought this was interesting. A gold diamond mini rose refractor. So, there's a lot going on there, but you got a rookie out of 50 from Finest compared to a select zebra field level for the same price. Of course, one's a 9, one's a 10, but at least for me, as someone that isn't a Lamine Yamal collector currently, I'd take the Finest myself. Above that, PSA 8 of the 2006 Cristiano Ronaldo World Cup Germany card. Wanted to look this one up, and I did. What else do I have here? I have, I have the Rivera as well. So I guess we'll look at the Rivera real quick since it's the first thing I have open. In regards to this was actually a pretty low price. Granted, Rivera's been doing really well the last couple of years, and so I guess seeing a low price isn't totally surprising, especially when you go back in the day. $27 for an SGC 3. It's a pretty beat 3. It'd probably be a PSA 1 or 2, maybe a 1. But nonetheless, $27 back then. Now a 1.5 is going for 420, and it seems like a low price compared to some of the other stuff we've seen. But ultimately make it that way you will. 2006 Ronaldo, as I mentioned already. Want to check this out because I felt like it was up. In my bones, I knew it was up, but I didn't know it was up this much. I didn't know it bottomed at about $100, which, retrospectively looks pretty low. But it is a pop 500 card. There's probably lots of 9s and a good amount of 10s as well. So, interesting, I guess, to see. Well, it's probably about right. Double the price for a 9 and then 3 times the 9 price for a 10. That's about what we see generally. So that seems to add up. Next to it, Beckenbauer Auto from 1966. Just seems like such a high price for me, but he signed a lot of stuff. This isn't a super high grade. I don't think I see this issue a ton, so maybe that's doing a little bit there, but PSA 3 with a 9 for the auto isn't like stellar. Above it, Lionel Messi, Jogo Bonito, orange, goes for $432 and a PSA 10, along with another PSA 8 Ronaldo and a Pedri PSA 9 gold. The Pedri seemed like it's a little higher price than typical. I think that was about a $300 to $400 card, so it's a little bit above $400 on that sale there. PSA 5 Maradona from 1986 goes for nearly $500, feels pretty strong. A couple autographs next to it. You can get a Topps Chrome red of the Dutch players there, or a IP Lamine Yamal. Take your pick. In terms of watches, fairly close, 20 and 27 there, respectively. We got a Fischetti PSA 8 from 1962-63 Panini Calciatore. This gets 504 here. Pirlo, which I did have on the watch list. I usually take off what I watch, but I forgot to here. But, it doesn't matter. Seemed like it did a pretty fair price. His like patch auto stuff will do like $700 to $800, so just an autograph card doing 516 out of flawless doesn't seem crazy. But if you are, an Italian collector going after flawless, it doesn't seem like a bad price either. This was pretty strong. Granted, good eye appeal on the front, decently centered, good colors, good overlays. I get it. 516. The back has like a corner that's all marked up in like blue marker for some reason, but 516 there is pretty strong. Above it, a couple Messis in this row. You got a 2021 Father's Day Explosion PSA 10 for 516, pop 1 of 1. You have a 2024 Immaculate Julian Alvarez 1 of 1 for 528. Seemingly his desirability's fallen quite a bit. I mean, 528 still, decent number, but for a young prospect like that, it's not crazy. Of course, sticker auto, but PSA 9 2006 Mega Cracks for 540. That doesn't feel crazy, I guess, to me. Really? I mean, when like a PSA 9 rookie's doing $100,000, you get a third year for $500. I'm sure it was lower at some other point in time, but doesn't seem all that wild in my eye. 2018 National Convention's Pyramids. This goes for $576. The national stuff's always just kind of weird and not really consistent, but 5960 Saddam, PSA 3, Gianni Rivera. I didn't look this up, but I'd have to imagine it's sort of along the same lines as the others. If PSA 3 is a decent grade on this, pop 1 of 4 or 5 higher. PSA 8, Lionel Messi for 630. About 50% boost on the Ronaldo. And we'll see another card later. I think Messi and Ronaldo are closer than, the greater hobby collective has thought the last couple years. I just think that in terms of like stardom and, just iconic nature, we use iconic and icon and all this stuff to talk about like meaningful cards. But if you talk about meaningful players, I think Ronaldo is basically just as meaningful as Messi. And, in 50 years, will people look back and say, well, Messi won a World Cup? Maybe. But I mean, tons of players. I mean, how many people right now do you hear saying, Pele has 3 World Cups, he should be? I don't hear that at all. I mean, I hear some people say it, but generally speaking, and no one brings it up, so I don't get it. But nonetheless, 50% boost there. Above it, we have an Edwin van der Sar here out of the 99 Merlin set. Second year Merlin, PSA 9, super strong grade here. Pop 1 of 1, of course, none higher. And that goes for 660, which, again, respectable player. And probably a respectable price as well, to be honest. We have a Rodrigo Mora next to it, rookie auto here for 690, along with the BGS 6 Monday Chromo for 720. Super off-center, but, it is a 6. We'll see a PSA 6 that does a little bit higher, but not a ton higher here in a second. Little spoiler, I won something up there. David Beckham autograph here out of 2020-2021 Mosaic. PSA 10 goes for 750. I don't know if you just saw that, but I don't know why that came up. 2002 Iniesta rookie PSA 10 for 750. This one has been around 400 to 500 for quite a while. This one goes for 750, which is a nice little boost on where it had been. Franz Beckenbauer 74 World Cup sticker for 780. Want to see if I look this one up? Okay, well, there's the Iniesta. I sort of said what happened there. I guess it bottomed at 303 earlier this year, or last year at this point. And at one point in time, it was, multiple thousands. But a lot of them came out. It sort of worked its way down. Some more came out, sort of steadied, and now it seems to be rising a decent bit, at least on that sale there. The Beckenbauer is at 780, and the prior sale was 480, so quite a bump there. Granted, some of the earlier sales were even higher, so sort of getting back to those boom and day prices. Nicely centered as well, at least from what I can tell there. In this row, Got a Di Stefano 53, 54 Bruguera, PSA 8. This, of course, was my win of the auction block. I won some others, but the only one you'll see at 780 there. That I did not look up because I kind of know the pricing pretty well. Generally seemed to have bottomed at like 400 to 500. Way back in the day, it was worth a lot more, and ultimately 780. I felt was a fair price, maybe even a little strong. I recently sold a PSA 8 with a OC designation on eBay for nearly the same price, and so I was just happy to upgrade that. In terms of early Di Stefano, there's definitely other ones that you'd probably rather go after. There's some fun Spanish issues, and of course he has rookies out there as well, but the rookies are super hard to find and super expensive, so for me, this was a fun one to go ahead and upgrade. 2022 gold Kevin De Bruyne PSA 9 goes for 780 there. Don't know if I looked this one up. I did. And I thought this was a good example that you can have a great player, the right card, and the market's booming, and no one cares in this situation, at least for this card in particular. Last sale was 820, sale before that 780, sale before that, I'm sort of picking through here to the ones that are actually what we're looking at, 560, 575, and then 720. This one actually had sold for 720, 780, and then 780 again, so the same exact one sold 3 times. Ultimately didn't really go anywhere. There were some lower sales at 500 there, so maybe if you got a deal, but I do think in this world of rarity and new modern cards getting high prices, I think it's all fun when people care and when people are really focused on whatever it is that that card may be. But when the eyeballs sort of wander a bit, I think that they can struggle because ultimately these are expensive prices. I mean, KDB getting nearly 1,000 is a good price for him. I mean, I don't know what the highest selling KDB ever is. I'd assume it's like some Dynasty or some on-card item of his for like 5 to 10 grand, I would have to think. So if you're paying $1,000 for an out of 10 gold, I mean, there's sort of a limit on it, and maybe we're there, maybe we're not, you never know, but it's just one of those things where when there's so many cards, so many numbers, so many players, so many this, so many that, at some point there is sort of a barrier you have to break through, and some players and some cards can break through that barrier, but I think a lot of players and cards will struggle. We have a 2024 Zebra Lionel Messi for 810 here, PSA 10 from 2024 Select. Above it, a 1/1 Rivaldo black autograph here for 840. We have a Jude number to 75 rookie here for 840 as well. A first of a few different autographs we'll see in this auction block from Pre-Modern. This is the Totti rookie, PSA 5 for the sticker, PSA 9 for the sticker autograph. I guess it's an autograph on the sticker. It's not really a sticker autograph, of course, but 840 there felt decent, at least from my point of view. We'll see an R9 later that does a really good number. Personally, I like these sorts of cards and stickers and the autograph on Pre-Modern. I think they're a cool niche, but I do wonder or am partially concerned with Pre-Modern in the sense that if these start getting big prices a lot, people have access to these guys and can ultimately, pay them a little bit of money and get a bunch of these autographed. And, the pops can definitely explode. I mean, right now this says pop 1 of 1 done higher. After a $1,000 sale, I'd be interested if that continues, and especially for the R9 we'll see later. I just think that there's definitely possibility for a lot more of those to make their way out. Monday Chromo and a PSA 6, as I mentioned before, the BGS did about 700, so this does a little bit higher, but not a ton, which is kind of surprising. I think on the mid-low grades, people don't care as much on different grading companies. I think on the super high end is where you see that really make a big difference. Esteval out of 99 Select for 900 there. We also have a Jared Moeller for 960 and a PSA 6. I think I looked this one up, and I did. I guess it bottomed at, we saw a $700 sale there. I thought I saw, there's a 690 as well. It's, so it's up a little bit. It's up like 30-40% from the lows that we were seeing, of course, way back in the day. You would have seen, you'd see this sale at $88, and you'd also see another sale at $5,200. So, ultimately found ourselves somewhere in between there, closer to the lower sale than the higher sale, and doing decent, I would say. I mean, it basically got the same price as a best offer on eBay for an auction card. I don't know if I want to put us through the pain and suffering, but we'll look at the back. Don't know what that is. Don't see that on a lot of copies. Okay, that's interesting. Little like specks of stuff seemingly going on here. Would I say it's a good 6? Probably not. But, it's a 6, so PSA said so. Above it, Optic Red Velocity, Kylian Mbappe, PSA 10 for 990. On this optic set, I'm really, well, Donruss optic, I'm really much more intrigued by the French kit stuff than PSG. I don't think people look back on the PSG stuff all that fondly, and I think, French stuff from 2018 has a clear narrative there. 2014, red, white, and blue power plaid, Cristiano Ronaldo PSA 10 for 1,020, along with an R9 sticker and a BGS 6 for 1,050 as well. Don't know if we saw one of these go recently. There's been a lot of R9 sales, and despite the influx of R9s being sold, still holding up very, very well. Lionel Messi Gold Finest from First Year Finest PSA 9 goes for 1,080, which, I mean, you can make it that way you will, but seems decent. Seems decent for a 9 from Finest. Finest doesn't get a lot of love. Next to it, Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi matchups base PSA 9 for 1,100. To me, that's just, it's so crazy. Especially on like an early slab as well. A 9 back in the day is probably an 8 now, I would have to say, because clearly there was something wrong with it back in the day. You could have something wrong with it. They'd still give it a 10. And you'd really have to have something wrong with it to get a 9. So, to me, it's just like, I know it's a cool card, but over $1,000 for a base card of these two, I mean, yeah, it's Prism, it's nice, but it's a base card, it's a base card, but hey, to each their own. I mean, there are cool, 90s cards from basketball with 2 players on it that do great numbers, even if they're, not numbered, refractor, this, that, and the other. So, I don't know. Next to it, Bruno Fernandes 101 goes for 1,100 there. I guess just in this row, like I'd way rather have that Messi than the Messi Ronaldo, and I'm not even a Bruno Fernandes guy, but I might take that card just because of what it is over a base 2014 Prism. But nonetheless, that's it for page 2. On to page 1 for the big hitters. And there we go, finding our way to the bottom here. Take your pick, PSA 8 2014 Silver Prism Messi or a PSA 7 of the number 62 rookie, both lingering around the same price point there. I'm talking bad about Prism, but I might take the Prism. I don't know. That's a little tricky, but I definitely would take the Messi Silver Prism over the matchups in a base version for sure. But again, just me. Road to the World Cup from 2021-2022 Mosaic. This is a gold breakaway fluorescent Messi PSA 10 1,100. I can't even tell what. Oh, is it called fluorescent? No, it can't be. It's breakaway. Oh, okay. I thought breakaway was like the SKU, but I guess that's just the insert name. All right, cool. Above it, 92-93 Zidane foot, PSA 8 for nearly 1,300. I looked up PSA 8 foot Zidanes to see what we got recently. I knew that there was a couple big sales here. This, I don't think this is the same copy, 641. Oh, it is the same copy. Okay, well, makes you wonder when it's a month and a half apart if maybe that first one didn't get paid. And, yeah, man, it's so tricky because, you wonder how much of those second 2 sales may have been influenced by that first sale there. But I guess there also was a sale back here for, 1,800. That's a different cert, so presumably paid, but I don't know. I feel like you always got to be, skeptical, especially on something like this. Like this sold on eBay, and granted, eBay doesn't get the same price as Fanatics on this type of stuff, but like less than $300. And then later this year, it's 1,800. I just always wonder with this because, I'm sort of stumbling here. I probably edited it out. But I just think that, like, on this type of stuff that doesn't come up often, but someone could get 4 of them or 5 of them, or, there could be people out there finding these. They would have a lot of interest in having the first sale be super strong. And then subsequent sales coming out of similar stickers, and because they just and I'm not accusing anyone. And again, I have no clue. I'm just a guy looking at sales here and just trying to figure out how things could make sense. I would imagine that if someone had other Zidane foots in similar grade, they'd really want a strong sale in that first one that they put out, and then they'll put out the other ones. And even if that first one doesn't get paid, the other ones will see that and sort of go off that. And so I just think that's always something to be cautious about, with stuff like this, when you're seeing $300 sales, $500 sales, $1,800 sales. Like, I would just be really cautious there, and just, bid what you feel comfortable bidding. Next to it, a 2022 red breakaway PSA 10 goes for $1,350 from, of course, his World Cup winning year, if you didn't know. 2022 Select Gold, Kvicha Kvaratskhelia, PSA 10 goes for $13.50 as well. Would have to imagine that's down a little bit. He was the talk of the town there for a little while in Serie A. It felt like this product was almost based around him in the sense of like what people were hunting. And a PSA 10 of his gold field level only doing 1,300. I say only, it's still a big number. But back in the day probably would have been a bit more. Above it, we got a couple autos here. A Mosaic Road to the World Cup Maradona and an out of 99 Jude Bellingham for the same price. Take your pick between those two. Bellingham, quite a few more watchers there. So, 2021 Color Blast, Kylian Mbappe. We'll see some Color Blast later, and I looked up some sales. They seem to be doing pretty well. And again, to me, like, they're sort of following the Kabooms a little bit. I think there's this narrative that, like, well, the Kabooms are gone. They're next level, and a Kaboom will top the list this week. But they're still Color Blast. They're still, and that's true. But I just wonder, like, if Kabooms, it's one of those things where if Kabooms start doing not well, maybe they go down in price. I feel like those secondary case hits are definitely going to, take a big hit at that point. But we haven't seen that happen, so who knows. Camo Select Few 2016 Cristiano Ronaldo for $15.90 in a PSA 10. I don't need to state my thoughts on camo. I've done that enough. 2024 Blue Refractor. I don't think it's a crazy price, though, to be fair. I mean, on a PSA 10, I would assume a 9's like $500. An out of 20 Ronaldo from an early select doing $500. I mean, that seems about right. Next to it, 2024 Topps Chrome Future Stars Lamine Yamal goes for $15.90 for an out of 150. That's not a rookie. Like, ugh. Now it is a 10-10, so he did a good job at putting those two lines down. I don't know. Next to a PSA 8 Messi for $15.90 as well. This row would be interesting in a take your pick. I'd probably take the Ronaldo, but could take the Messi as well. Lamine Yamal would be a clear third, of course. I've already sort of stated my thoughts there, but just to solidify that one. Lamine Yamal rookie above it for nearly the same price. I'd take a rookie. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. 1994 R9 El Mundo Deportivo and a PSA 6 gets $1,700. Pretty strong. Last PSA 8 did 4,500 or so. So a PSA 6 doing 1,700 feels pretty good. Next to it, Color Blast Mo Salah here. BGS 10. BGS, they give out some 10s every now and then. Pristine, 1,800 there. Again, sort of showing the strength behind Color Blast at the moment. I'd find that hard to imagine that being an $1,800 card a few years ago. This 1958 Bremer Fakring Crying Pele. If you follow the channel, I did acquire one of these, so of course I am a fan, just to put out my loyalty beforehand. But 1,800 here felt pretty strong. At the same time, maybe I don't know. It depends how you see it. There was a low sale recently on Heritage for like $600 for a one. But other times on eBay, you'll see like ones go on auction or on best offer for anywhere from anywhere of like 1K to 2K. So this is in the range generally, but it seems to be on the stronger side of that range, I would say, with 1,800 there. Trinity Rodman, 1 of 1. Again, not going to pretend like I know what's going on there, but it is an American player, so maybe I should know. I don't know. Silver Kylian Mbappe International Ink from 2022 Prism goes for $19.80. Above that, a Heung-Min Son Topps Dynasty for 2K, which I'm guessing he doesn't sign a ton. I can't recall seeing tons of his autos, but there's a decent amount out there. Topps Dynasty, of course, big set for him. I think it's the first time he's in a super big time set like this. So 2K, you can kind of rationalize. It feels pretty strong when you know where like Haaland and Mbappe's not in it, but like Haaland and Messi and those types of guys, where they go. But Heung-Min Son definitely cult following behind him, so I get it. 1934 Chocolate Cine Sport Mianza here in a PSA 3 for $2,100, pop 1 of 1 and then higher. Vintage Discord link down below. As always, a great place to sort of learn and get some knowledge. There was a member, Seb, that had mentioned that this is a pretty hard back to find on this one, and that he was happy with for the buyer and seller. Personally, I can't make too much of Miazza's sales generally, just because I've bought my first Miata recently. I'm sort of entering the space, but ultimately there's just so much that I haven't tiered out where everything should be. So I can't speak on this, but it does seem like a pretty solid price and also a good amount of watchers for a pre-war issue here. We also have a Kylian Mbappe color wheel next to it, so you go the other end of the spectrum there. $2,200 for that out of the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. Above it, we have a Messi PSA 10 2008 Monday Chromo for $2,250. Again, maybe this is hard to find. I don't know. I mean, honestly, like straight up, I might take the PSA 9 2006 Mega Cracks over this personally. The Mega Cracks was like $500 or $600. But, you know, people like PSA 10 Messi's. It's a pop one of one. You know, I get it. Everyone's fighting over Messi and all of his cards and this, that, and the other. And this type of stuff that never grades well because, you know, they weren't keeping that in good condition and the cards usually tend to be easy to degrade. So make of it what you will. 2024 Color Blast Youngman's Son next to a Color Blast 2022 Ronaldo. You know, safe pick here. I'd take the Ronaldo, even though it's Juve kit. I know everyone says, oh, Juve kit. I don't think it's playing days Juve kit either, which is a little disgusting, to be honest. But nonetheless, 2,500 there, 2,300 there. And I did look up the Ronaldo. In terms of pass sales, this was a $500 card all day, every day, even a $400 card upon the first sale. Crazy that a first sale is actually the lowest sale. I want to see, yeah, I sorted that by date sold. That's crazy. 400, 500, 600, 2,700, 2,500. I mean, it seems a little excessive, you know, but they're rare. They're case hit. They got colors. Speaking of case hits and rare, and I mean, you know, rare's definitely debatable. I'm somewhat using it as a joke, but at the same time, you know, relative to other things, they probably are rare. Relative to the base Donruss, they're rare. Erling Haaland Kaboom here, PSA 10 goes for 2,600. Next to it, a couple of Lamine Yamal tie-dye rookies, both in PSA 10. You have the Terrace and the Mezzanine. Personally, I like the look of the Mezzanine a lot more. You also have the Spanish Barca kit thing going on there, and an NBA silver sticker if you care. Pop's basically the same. And fun to see those go. 2,800 is probably still a decent price. It seems like Lamine Yamal is still going strong. 2003 Xavi here. I thought this was the coolest card to me in the auction block. I thought this was just a big time card. It was lingering at like $600 going into like Sunday afternoon, and I was like, you know, might take a shot at it. I think if it went under like 1,800, I probably would have, you know, I would have came out on top. But ultimately, of course, that wasn't how it worked out. I still think at 3K, that's a cool card, man. You know, in a world where people love, I mean, what did we see earlier? Topps Dynasty, Youngman's Son. You know, yeah, I mean, it's Youngman's Son, the Topps Dynasty, but like, this is Xavi. This is a crazy rare set out of 25 from basically the first. I don't know if it's the first, but my intuition would say it's the first on-card auto. I think the patch is actually like training worn, or I don't think it's match worn, but still, like, this is just crazy. 3K there feels fine. You know, if you're a big Xavi guy, I think that's a deal. I'll say it, even at 3K. Next to it, a Lionel Messi 2017 Topps Museum out of 25 here goes for 3,100. And I don't think I've ever seen that before, so, you know, clearly not all that common. Red Velocity Optic Messi here from 2018 goes for 3,100, 3 times the price of the Mbappe. So, you know, a little bit of a preview here for Messi, even though it's like 14th year. Goes for 3,100, which, this is one that I look back on the comps and it was disgusting. So I don't know what happened here. You know, every now and then I say most likely to be a shield. This might be it. I don't know. 3,100, literally last sale was 2 months ago for $750. There was a sale before that in September for $750. And this was a it was like I guess it depends on when you look, anywhere from $300 to $800 card. Take the middle of it, $400 to $500, somewhere in there. That's not necessarily the middle, but I mean, in 2025, it sold. Granted, it's Argentina kit, sure, but people like the Argentina kit now. That sold for $444, and now we're looking at $3,100. And it wasn't jersey number. That was the only thing that would have made sense in my head. I looked. It's not jersey number, so I have no clue what happened there. And if I had to make a list of most likely to be shield, that might be it. Might be the only one on the list. I don't know. Next to it, well, not next to it, but above it, we have the Lionel Messi here from 2022 Topps Chrome Barca set. Purple out of 15 goes for $3,400 in a PSA 8. Next to it, 2024 Donruss Lionel Messi Kaboom PSA 7. Who cares? It's a Kaboom. That's 4K. Next to it, I thought this R9 did a super strong price at 4K. Personally, and this is sort of harkening back to what I was mentioning earlier on the Tati, like, you can have R9 recreate these. You know, there's clearly R9 stickers out there. We see them sell. You could have them autograph one, and, you know, presumably you buy the sticker for $500, $750, something like that in a PSA 4, and then you turn around, get him autograph it, probably a few $100 or something. So you're into it for like $1,000 maybe, and it sells for $4,100. I mean, it just seems like a easy sort of moneymaker there. I take the Xavi all day, every day, twice on Sunday. Just save $1,000 too. I mean, golly, I just think that Xavi was such a deal, especially compared to this. But 125 watchers on that. The Xavi only had 61. I think that's just unfair. I think that's just so unfair. 61 watchers on that. Now this is a rookie. This isn't, but I don't care. Anyways. Ultimately, R9 did more. That's what the market says. It's what the people are saying. Above it, PSA 4 Pele Aquarella for 4K. I thought this was kind of a low sale. Typically, 1s to 3s are about $1,000 a grade, and then at 4s and 5s, you see that sort of step up a bit. This one actually stayed right on point, $4,200 there. It doesn't look all that white. It looks a little brown, and maybe you could say the eye appeal isn't quite there, but you know, always hard to tell with the Aquarellas. Next to it, take your pick of the Messis, both nearly the same price at a little bit below 5K. You got a gold National Pride out of 2015 Select in a PSA 9 or a tie-dye PSA 10 out of 30. I've always felt weird about the National Prides. Like, some of them look good, some of them don't. I think the Argentina one's fine because the country sort of takes up a lot of the card. I'd rather take the gold National Pride, but at the same time, the tie-dye, I can definitely understand. One's a pop 1 a 2, 3 higher. One's a pop 1 a 9, so, yeah. Above that, 2023 Lamine Yamal Color Blast for $5,500. This is one where, I mean, clearly it's a good price, but, like, if you really believed in Color Blast, if you're really behind it, you know, I think a PSA 10 Lamine Yamal rookie would be a place to be. You know, ultimately, you never know how it plays out. Should he be twice the price of that Ronaldo? I mean, earlier you could have got what? This Ronaldo and a Heung-min Son for nearly the same price as this Lamine Yamal. I take the Lamine Yamal over the Ronaldo and Heung-min Son, but again, as always, that's just my opinion. 2024 Black Donruss Kylian Mbappe, 1 of 1 for $5,500. It is a PSA 10. But man, that's a nice price. It feels like, you know, $5,500 for a Donruss card. I mean, that's not too shabby. 2004 SP Authentic Ronaldo PSA 10 for $6,300. I did take a look at this one. I also looked at the tie-dye Messi, and this was up quite a bit. Well, actually, not really. Oh my God. There were some other sales earlier for $7,200 and $7,800. And then if you look pre-boom, it was closer to, I think, like 1 to 2K most of the time. Actually, it was 2 to 3K. Okay. 1.5 to 3K, somewhere in there. So it's still up quite a bit, but that actually dropped a little bit off the last couple. The Lamine Yamal is actually up and continuously up, it seems. This in June, which is when he sort of peaked out, was about 5 to 6K, maybe even 4,500 at times. This one's a little over 6, so still doing good numbers. The SP Authentic Ronaldo, in terms of PSA 10, you could have got, it's not the same, well, it's not the same one, but in May, this one went for $1,800, and you could argue maybe that one's a better picture than this one. So obviously up a bit, but if you do go back to like 2022 pricing, there were some times where those would sell even higher. I think only one sale. Is this the second highest price ever? No. Third. Okay. Yeah. All right. It's not crazy, but strong sale for sure. Above it, Red Sapphire Selections. Lionel Messi, $6,300 on that out of 5 from 2022. You have a Green Crystals Ronaldo PSA 8 there for $6,600. If I had to take my pick between the two, I'd take the Ronaldo, but they're both inserts. One of them obviously much rarer than the other, but, you know, 2014 Prism sort of, you know, holds a little something different. Green Crystals is a little weird because, like, in other years, the numbering's almost to the World Cup number. Like, the Cyrillics are about 18. No one really knows, but they're pretty close to that. The Maroons from 2022 are out of 2020 or out of 22. And the Green Crystals here, it would be fun if they were out of 14, but they're out of 25, so it is what it is. Pop 1 to 3, not higher, actually. I didn't even notice that. I'd definitely take that one then. 2024 Panini Noir Snapshot Signatures Messi. Interesting to see what like new Noir is doing for, still a fun card, fun player, obviously, and a nice looking auto there. 6,600 for that raw card. Presumably not going to grade all that well. A lot of those thick cards don't. Above that, PSA 6 Lionel Messi 71 bis. Who else? 8,100 there, and has an eye appeal by Fanatics if you care for that. 8,100 feels kind of low, but yeah, I mean, they've fallen a little bit. I just recall seeing people on Instagram selling like PSA 2s or trying to sell PSA 2s for like $5,000 or being like, this is a deal. And now you could buy a 6 for 8,100. I'd cough up the extra few thousand, get a 6 if I could. Early Holland Orange, PSA 10 here. Rookie, of course, out of Sapphire. This goes for 8,100. I did take a look because I'm interested in what Holland's doing as of late. And this one does have an eye appeal sticker from NBA. So, what's that worth? I don't know. But in terms of past sales, it's actually down from the last couple. 9,200, 8,400. Best offers are always going to get a higher price, at least generally speaking. And, did seem to bottom out here at 4,800. So almost up double from that price. But, way back in the day, definitely more. So, it's finding its way back, but only to some degree. Messi World Cup Stars Green Crystals as well. Pop on a 5-1 higher. This goes for 9,300. Another example where you have about a 50% boost from Ronaldo to Messi. 6,600 here, 9,300 there. Not quite 50%, maybe closer to 40, but still a noticeable premium. In this row, which one will you take? It's always just interesting. This one would be a little harder, I think, than the row before it. I've already done it, so why not just pair up the green crystals if I could? Just take them both. But that's hard. That's actually a lot harder to pick this row. I cut out like a minute of me just sitting here and staring at it, but I really have a tough time, so I'm just going to keep moving. Top row here, we have quite an interesting selection here. So we have a 2024 Topps Chrome booklet with Messi, Xavi, Busquets, and Iniesta. Really fun booklet, to be fair. This is, clearly sort of the Barca quadrant. I don't know how you say that, but I was going to say trio, but clearly not a trio. Messi auto. I don't know what's going on there. That looks a little weird, but you never know. Messi's autos are all over the place. I don't know what to say anymore. Iniesta, Busquets, Xavi, Messi. Sort of speaks for itself. Booklets aren't generally a fan favorite, and probably why it only gets 10K. I say only, of course, it's still a big price, but for a card like this, could be multiples of it if it was the right sort of layout, but still a big number, 10K there, and not something we're going to be able to comp all too much. Next to it, 2018 Gold Kylian Mbappe PSG kit as well. It says rookie. I personally don't think any 2018 Mbappe is a rookie. 2017, I'll let you get away with it personally because they are rookie cards. They're not rookie necessarily because there are stickers, but if you're just looking at cards, 2017 are technically rookie cards. 2018, I don't think there's much of a case you can make. I think people often use rookie just as a replacement for like cool early card. People just want to put the rookie moniker on it instead of saying like cool early card because it just sounds better. But like 2018 is cool. Like I think 2018 Prism's really cool. I don't think you have to call it a rookie, but I think people just feel the need to because there's added premiums there. The gold, this is a PSG kit in terms of prior sales. We have 6,600 here just a year ago. So a nice little, bump there. Actually 16K here. So a nice little dip from the last sale. But yeah, I feel like these are strong prices. Even at 8, 9, 10K, that felt pretty strong, especially for PSG kit. Feels pretty good. Feels pretty good if I had to say so myself. But, if you see it as a rookie card, it's probably undervalued. If you don't see it as a rookie card, maybe not so much. And then finally, 2017, Kaboom, Lionel Messi. PSA 10. Who else? What else? Of course, it's a Kaboom. Why wouldn't it be? I sort of could see this coming last week when we looked at the preview, what was going to top the list. But yeah, these are the prices, and you'll notice that it's down. Why is it down? The highest sale was 43K. It says it's 24. That's not right. I don't know. Someone on eBay over in presumably the UK didn't quite know what he had here. He listed it at 7,100, which is 9,600 American dollars, and someone snatched it. Presumably, I don't think he took it down. It seemed like someone just picked it up and The guy that bought it, I mean, he might have bought it for $5K within the last year, maybe $4K. And he's like, let me triple my money. Let me double or triple my money. And, someone clearly took him for it. So, yeah, this sale actually would be closer to these peak sales if not for that buy it now that ended the same day. So, but I do think it goes to show, like, there's probably a decent amount of people that own this card that might not know it's 30 to 40,000 within the last 6 months. Maybe they just had the card and don't follow the prices all the time. It is a pop 46, and it's a total pop of 104. I mean, I know people like kabooms. I know it's the thing. I'm pretty sure this is first year. I don't think there's 2016 kaboom, so I get it. There's narratives, there's this, there's that, but like pop 46 sells for 40,000. So we're saying the market cap on it's like 1.6 million for his first kaboom. Well, I mean, we did see a green kaboom sell for like, 1 point something million. So, maybe, but like, to me, it just seems, it's so crazy. And I know that this is what people are sort of gathered around at this point in time, but it blows my mind. And I think it's a great example of how easy it is to flip perspectives on something in sports cards by having money behind something. Because kabooms, literally, like this kaboom, I don't, do you want to, should we go look? Should we go do it? Should we go do the search and see what it did? I guess we can look all time there. That'll be great. I mean, 2018, under $100. Now, of course, 2018, who's collecting soccer cards, the few, the strong, the whatever. But even in 2021, like peak 2021, it was 5K. Peak. And most things from 2021 came down 50, 75%, anywhere between 25 and 75%. So say like theoretically it should have been like a $2,500 card. It dropped about 3K and now it's 38, a 12X. I mean, really, we're talking like a 8X in a year. 800% gains in a year. I know it's fun. I know it's kaboom. I know it's the thing right now. But when something is up 800% in a year, there's no world where I'm touching that. Even if I liked kabooms, even if I thought kabooms were amazing, if I thought kabooms were the best card ever, there's no way I'm touching an 800% increase. So I'm so confused where all this comes from. Of course, there's repackers. There's this, there's that. There's clearly people behind it with money. So I get it, sorta. But I also just don't at all. So that's a fun one to top the list. I don't really know what to make of it, but would love to hear your thoughts down below in a comment, of course, along with the rest of the items you saw today. I didn't go through and say my best pickups. I mean, I sort of mentioned the Shabby. I thought that was a really fun pickup, even though it's 3K. If I had to scroll a little more, some of the Heung-min Son seems a bit high, but again, he's got a cult following. It seemed a little high on the Bremer. Ultimately, page 2, what pickups did I like here? I sort of like that Finest Gold Messi, to be honest. I think a Jared Muller, even at that price, isn't all that crazy, although with that back, maybe a little more so. Personally, I like these. I don't think it was a crazy deal. If I didn't buy that, I wouldn't talk about it at all, really. I mean, I would have brought up the past sales, but I wouldn't think it's like a deal or something. Then beyond that, I mean, I don't know. I thought the Flawless, Pirlo was decent. But yeah, that's probably it. Nothing really stuck out to me too much in terms of like crazy deals. I'm sure there might have been a couple in there, but I really like that Xavi, and I'm super jealous of whoever got that. Looking at next week, here we go. Nothing but Messi to start. Who would have thought? You got a 2022 NT here out of 25. You have two 71 bisses, a PSA 8 and a PSA 7. You got another bis here in a 4.5. You got a PSA 9 silver, a BGS 9.5 rookie. Beneath that, you have a CR7 sticker and a PSA 5. There's a Messi Este in here as well somewhere. We'll probably see that in a bit. R9 PSA 8, that'll probably do a big price. Ronaldinho 1 of 1 with a super nice patch there. Lamine Yamal, Topps Chrome Stadium Club, 1 of 1 Ronaldinho. A pretty interesting looking auto there on that Messi. Nice vintage Pele item. Also another PSA 10 red from the SP Authentic set. Blue color match Messi. Pretty nice looking week next week as well. So it seems like we're coming back here a little bit in terms of cards sold. That Merlin looks pretty nice. High grade Beckenbauer from 1970. A red Neymar. Got a kaboom. There's a kaboom. We found a kaboom. There you go. Kaboom enjoyers. And yeah, fun week here. I'm excited. Hopefully you are as well. Definitely enjoyed it. If you enjoyed the video, of course, make sure to leave a like. I'd appreciate it greatly. Any thoughts, high, low, or if you hate me or love me, let me know down below. I like to hate comments sometimes, so if you want to leave one, that's fine. And if you want to see more videos like this as soon as I go live, make sure to subscribe. But with that said, hopefully you have a wonderful day, and peace.